Hey everyone, and welcome. We're about to pull back the curtain on one of Java's coolest features, the Streams API, and we're going to do it with a little help from the insights of Dr. Sasan Azizian. Now, if you're a Java student and you are just tired of writing those same clunky loops over and over again, well, you are in exactly the right place.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to take a quick look at the old way. The code we've all written 1,000 times. Then we'll introduce the brand new, much cleaner flow of streams. After that, we'll see them in action, really break down why this is such a game changer. And finally, we'll talk about your next step. Sound good? Let's dive in.
All right, first up, the old way. We're going to kick things off by looking at a problem that I guarantee every single one of you has had to solve at some point. So, does this question hit a little too close to home? You've got a list of something, students, books, whatever, and you need to pick out just the ones that meet some specific criteria. You know how to do it, but you also know what's coming: another for loop. And yup, here it is, the classic approach. You make a new empty list, you write a for each loop to go through everything, you pop an if statement in there to check your condition, and then you add the matching items. I mean, it works, right? Of course it does. But it's so noisy. All those extra lines are just boilerplate, and they kind of hide what you're actually trying to do. But what if there was a cleaner, more elegant way to get the same result? Well, that brings us to section 2, where we get to meet the solution: Java streams. So what in the world is a Java stream? Well, the textbook definition says it's a sequence of elements from a source that supports aggregate operations. Kind of dry, right? So let's use a much better way to think about it. Just picture a conveyor belt for your data. Seriously, this one idea, this conveyor belt analogy, is going to make everything click into place. So here's how our factory works. First, you've got the source. That's your original list. Think of it like a big crate of parts. When you create a stream, you're basically dumping that whole crate onto the conveyor belt. As your items travel down the belt, they go through different operations. These are like workstations that can check an item, change it, or even toss it out. And at the very end, you have your result, where all the finished products are collected. All right, enough talk. Theory is one thing, but seeing it for yourself is another. So for section 3, let's put these streams into action. We're going to tackle that exact same filtering problem from before, but this time we'll do it the modern way. Just take a look at that. The difference is night and day, right? On the left, our old, clunky loop, and on the right, the stream. It's just one beautiful, readable line of code. See, the loop is imperative. It's bossing the computer around, telling it how to do every little step. But the stream, it's declarative. We just tell it what we want. Hey, give me the items that match this role. It's so much cleaner and way easier to understand at a glance. Okay, so let's break that one magic line down. It all kicks off with the .stream method. You just call this right on your collection. This is the moment you hit the on switch for our conveyor belt, sending all your items on their way. The pipeline is officially open for business. Next in line is filter. This is our first workstation on the belt. Think of it like a quality control inspector with a checklist. It looks at every single item that comes by, and if an item passes the test, great, it moves on. If it doesn't, it gets pulled from the line. It's what we call an intermediate operation, because the process isn't finished yet. And finally, at the very end of the conveyor belt, we have our last stop, .collect. This is our terminal operation. It means the journey is over. Its job is simple. Take every single item that made it through all the checkpoints and gather them all up into a nice new list. Once this happens, the stream is done, and you've got your result. So we've seen how it all works. It's definitely neater. But that brings us to the really big question in section 4. Why should you actually bother making the switch? This is more than just new syntax. It's a completely better way to think about your code. The reasons are huge. First, readability. You're describing what you want, not getting lost in the weeds of how to do it. Second, it's concise. Fewer lines of code literally means fewer places for bugs to hide. Third, and this is so cool, efficiency. With just one tiny keyword change, you can make a stream run in parallel using multiple cores of your processor to chew through huge data sets way faster. And finally, it's modern. This isn't some obscure trick. This is how professional, modern Java code is written. And that brings us to our final section, your next step. Because what we've looked at today with this simple filter, well, it's really just the tip of the iceberg. So I'm going to leave you with this question to think about.
We've seen how a stream can turn a 5-line loop into one elegant statement. But what about all the other stuff you do, like transforming every item in a list with map or calculating a total with reduce? Just think, what complex, messy code in your projects is just waiting to be simplified? The possibilities are awesome. Thanks for joining me.